adjust. Otherwise, he may find himself in some sort of trouble.
All right, the second quarterfinals is underway in this tournament. The APAC Cup is brought to you by Google Play. Find new arenas and discover latest and the greatest games today only on Google Play. Tanaka Tsubasa from Japan against Gaia. Stoic, take it away.
Well, here we go, guys. We have our first match between Gaia and Tanaka Tsubasa. Let's see these two going at it. Pre-bans coming out here. Barbara getting pre-banned, and once again, that Ada's getting pre-banned on Tanaka Tsubasa's side of the field.
Right, and both players are part of the Invisible Star League. We don't see any stars on them, so it could be anyone's game here. That Fran first pick is very interesting, and by interesting, I mean not quite solid. I think some sort of a Sierra, exactly, a Sierra Daphnis opening would be very strong into that. Or actually a Sierra Hathor would have been a little bit better, but either way, Sierra is very good into this type of lineup. And then you see Tanaka Tsubasa responding with in his own speed lead, and I think preferably an Okeanos, so something that can disrupt this.
Well, it looks like he's going to dig into Gaia's box just a little bit, taking that Lauren away from him. Gaia's got 2 more picks after seeing that Vanessa Lauren coming out.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Lauren here unless it's a super fast swift one. Something like a Chiwu Okeanos would do very well against Tanaka Tsubasa's draft. That's if he wants to go speed. Goes with the Bastet Vertihile. Interesting pick here.
Yeah, very fast draft coming out of Gaia right now with Bastet Verd. And we have Tanaka Tsubasa looking to respond after seeing a Bastet Vertihile coming out.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Bastet, but I think the Verd is a pick in response to not wanting to give your opponent Verd and Lauren together. I think those two generally lock a game down if they're able to get through. So the Bastet's kind of a sketchy pick here, but the Vertihile I think is perfectly reasonable. Mina's going to be picked here. And Amali here. I'm surprised no one has taken Okeanos. It would have been such a good pick. And we see a Chris, a light archer.
This is a very interesting draft. Honestly, becoming from both of them, we're going to see Amali and Mina being drafted to wrap up Tanaka Tsubasa's draft. Gaia bringing in a Chris. I don't know what to say. Chris.
I mean, if that Sierra is the likely ban there, we're going to see Chris and Bastet are going to be ruined very, very quickly here, but Sierra is likely the ban here. I think Mina probably needs to be taken out. And if Sierra is not the ban here, I mean, we're going to see a fast Verd or a fast Chris. Either way, something on Tanaka Tsubasa's side is melting off the bat unless he has super fast runes himself.
All right, we have our round 1 between Gaia and Tanaka Tsubasa. We have a very fast Chris on our hands. Let's see what's going to happen here with Gaia. Ooh, not what he probably wanted to see there, but does get the initial turn as well, finishing off that Mina. Ooh, that was
and
as
we said, something was melting off the bat here because Tanaka Tsubasa did not ban out that Sierra, so instantly we see a 4v2 here, and Gaia's going to take a quick one. No sweat. I don't know why he's leading back. This looked like the easiest match in the world.
It definitely looked like the easiest match in the world. This, Chris, being a very interesting draft. Great combinations, great tuning coming out of Gaia. Tanaka Tsubasa, I don't think he was ready for what just hit him.
Yeah, and I don't know if Tanaka Tsubasa was ready to play Summoner's War today because that was just a total misban there. Should have taken out the Sierra because you know when a Chris and a Bastet are out there. Bastet's got a low base speed. It's only got 99 base speed. You know that your only way to win is to, or one of your main ways to win is to out-sustain, out-survive. Especially when you have a Fran, Vanessa there, you have good heals. You want to be able to use that to your advantage to survive something off the bat. You know your Vanessa is the target of a ban because your opponent's going so aggressive, but instead you choose not to take out that Sierra. I guess you just want to make a statement in this tournament, which is the fastest one to lose a match here.
What a wild draft coming out of Gaia, though. I mean, I really wasn't expecting to see it. But it looks like we're getting into the round 2 between Gaia and Tanaka Tsubasa. You can see the pre-bans from last time. Barbara getting pre-banned and Ada getting pre-banned by Gaia.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Tanaka Tsubasa does in return. I'm not sure what happened to his camera here. It'd be really interesting. Maybe after that match, he was just so shaken that he decided not to turn it on again. But we see an Amelia pre-ban, which is super interesting. I mean, if Gaia was going to pre-ban that, he should have just pre-banned a Slime just for style points. But either way, this is okay to take this out, I guess.
We have the Lauren getting pre-banned and Amelia getting pre-banned. I wonder if he did his homework on him as to why he banned out the Amelia, but he's going to be taking that Daphnis first.
Interesting take on the daftness. If I was Tanaka Tsubasa, I would be taking speed, but Sierra Vanessa together, I'm not sure about this. I think this is highly overreactionary because those two are very weak into lots of immunity, and they also don't give you immunity. They don't give you heals. So the two together at that point in time in the draft is quite weak.
Yep, Fran and Viga being drafted by Gaia. 2 more picks coming out of Tanaka Tsubasa here in response to seeing a Fran Viga.
Yeah, and I think the Fran Vigor's okay. I would have preferred to see an Okeanos at that point in the draft because Okeanos is so good in the Sierra Vanessa. And I definitely need to see an Okeanos at some point here or some sort of AoE control unit. I mean, Tanaka Tsubasa's draft is so weak to some sort of AoE control. Just needs a ban that the Velojoule here. Laying down that Verd makes it a little too transparent in taking out that the Artemil is going to be banned. So I'm not sure about that Verd pick that he's kind of highlighting there. But again, maybe he's confident in the damage that he'll deal, but that means he's going to be trading blows back and forth. And I think there's going to be easier ways to win this one.
Gaia looks like he's taking that Molly away from Tanaka Tsubasa. He had it last match. Gaia's going to be taking that Molly now. One last pick coming out of Tanaka Tsubasa.
Yeah, and actually Artemil does not need to be banned out here because Gaia's got so many units that do really well against Artemil. Tanaka Tsubasa actually doesn't really have a lot of burst if Sierra's gone. I think really likely we're probably going to see either a Sierra or a Velojoule ban. I don't think Artemil's a ban anymore. He's running out of time and takes another stationary unit here in Tyrannies. And so kind of confusing here, but at this point, maybe Tanaka Tsubasa just ran out of time. If Gaia had an Okeanos, this would have been game over from the beginning. So at this point, I mean, I guess any of the 5 units could be banned because this draft really is different.
Yep, it definitely is different, and some may call it interesting. A lot of sustain coming out of Gaia, and Ada is going to be banned on the side of Tanaka Tsubasa's side. 33 speed lead for Tanaka Tsubasa. Let's see if he can take first turn with it. Here we go, guys. Round 2 between Gaia and Tanaka Tsubasa. Velojoule able to get that first turn.
Yeah, and at this point here, though, Gaia is just going to be able to cycle over and over with speed buff, Vigors, Vertihiles. I mean, that Sierra and that Vanessa can do some damage, but I don't think he's going to have the rune quality required to take down one of Gaia's units. It's just going to come down to a slow wear over time. I mean, note that Tanaka Tsubasa does not have any heals on his side of the field.
He does have the sustain, though, of this Wind Druid. Wind Druid was able to get the provoke after getting that soul protection on top of Vanessa. Fran is able to cleanse up that soul protection. You can see that second skill coming out of the Vigor. Looking for a strip. CR not receiving it here.
Yeah, and actually, you'll note that Vigor took a lot of damage from that Tyrannies. So either that's the world's most well-runed Tyrannies, or that's a super squishy Vigor, and I think it's a very squishy Vigor. So if there's any window of opportunity, it'll be taking out Gaia's Vigor.
Let's see if he reads into that massive punishment coming onto that Vertiheal. Vertiheal still standing tall, and of course the Molly is going to be almost healing it to full.
Yeah, interesting amount of damage. If you note that Vertiheal lost half of its HP in one pop here, so I think actually Gaia's units must be all on crit damage, which is not the build that you want when you're playing with the style to survive. And that Vertiheal could go down with one bomb.
Yep, we're going to see it right here. So bomb does land on top of Verd, and Tanaka Tsubasa looking to detonate it off here, and does drop that Vertiheal. Molly's not able to sustain that.
Yeah, very interesting there, and that Vertiheal being way too squishy, and of course that's the reason why it's gone there. Tanaka Tsubasa picked up on the fact that Gaia's units are probably all on crit damage. Does a lot of damage, but at this point in the game, they don't need to have that type of damage.
We're definitely not going to be trading units here. And the Fran does get Wild Blow coming out of that Wind Druid. CR does go down, but we have that Vanessa passive reviving it. And we also have that Wind Druid who can revive it as well.
Yeah, I mean, this one's over. You look at how much damage that Gaia's units are taking. In a normal draft here on the ladder or with normal builds, not CD builds, I think Gaia's draft would have won a lot. But, I mean, you just saw how much damage he took that Vertiheal, taking half of its HP in one shot from the Velojoule. So that's pretty much pretty poor situation to be in when your units are that squishy.
Yep, you can definitely tell Gaia's just thinking about it here. Didn't even choose to cleanse up that bomb using the Molly skill.
Yeah, and again, Gaia is just thinking about that. He should have won on draft and had a very strong position in the draft, given the fact that his opponent took Sierra and Vanessa off the bat together, but it doesn't really matter now.
Yep, there you have it. Tanaka Tsubasa answering, Gaia taking round 2. Well done.
Yeah, well done by Tanaka Tsubasa, and I think Gaia is going to need to gem in and grind some more HP and defense percent because those units just melted off the bat. He needed to survive longer, let that attack go up, HP go down, and just run his opponent over, but unfortunately not able to live long enough to see that happen.
Yeah, and that was so interesting to me because you made it sound like, hey, this draft is basically over. You're kind of worried. Tanaka Tsubasa having a couple of technical difficulties with his camera not showing up. So you're wondering, maybe he tilted off the face of the earth after just getting completely outdrafted in that first game one. And I want to go back to that pick there in terms of the light archer, Chris. Like, when the attack came out on turn one, Stoic, you said, oh, that's maybe not what you wanted, but then he got the second proc brought to you by Google Play and immediately took one member out, and then another came out, and it felt like Tanaka Tsubasa didn't even get a chance to play the game, did he?
Well, he didn't, but keep in mind that Daphnis wasn't able to finish off, I think, a Fran, getting the defense break, not finishing off as well. At the same time, no matter what, it worked out for him. It really did. But if Chris didn't get that additional turn, not even the Daphnis finished off the Fran at the time either. Their 2 units would have been up at that point, so the match could have went the other way, but he did get the additional turn with the Chris, able to finish off the unit that he did focus on, and the Daphnis ended up doing his job as well eventually.
And again, everyone, right now we're working on getting Tanaka Tsubasa's camera back on up. This match is 1-1. It is still a best of 3, and the winner will be moving on to the semifinals, and will definitely play 2 games. A loser will have their Summoners War World Arena Championship hopes and dreams dashed right at that specific point. So, Megan Bud, I wanted to ask this to you. This draft being relatively dominant and then kind of being surprised by the rune quality here, do you feel like this is 2 players that just tried to specifically prepare against each other and had just a completely wrong read, or do you think these are just 2 players at the limit and this is all they got?
No, I think this is not so much a preparation for each other. I think that was kind of just like in general, when you rune a unit, like Vigor is not there to do a ton of damage off the bat. It's there to survive and use that speed buff to your advantage over time. I do think one point where Gaia could have drafted better was the Molly. I think Molly is not something that helped him against a Sierra Vanessa. If you note that one thing that Gaia was missing was a strip, right? So he didn't have that strip on hand, and the Molly didn't really bring anything to the table. So that was a misdraft. I still prefer Gaia's draft if he had tankier units, but either way, it doesn't matter. We're down to a 3rd match here.
Yep, this is it. The best of 3 will conclude here with this match. Gaia and Tanaka Tsubasa. Only one player can book their ticket to the semifinals. Stoic, get us back into this elimination match.
That's right. You heard it. Pre-bans have already gone out. The Barbara and Ada getting pre-banned. Gaia and Tanaka Tsubasa. And Ciara getting first picked.
Yeah, I think Ciara's a very good first pick here. It's very good in this meta. Gaia should be thinking about the Hathor, but I don't think Gaia's style likes that Ganny Hathor a lot. He likes aggression and at times likes Molly in weird spots, but goes for that Vanessa and Daphnis, which makes a lot of sense. Not sure if Vanessa's needed at this point, but whatever it is, he's laid it down.
Well, Fran and Vertigo looking at being drafted by Tanaka Tsubasa. Let's see what Gaia is going to be responding after seeing those 2 units.
I would have preferred to see some sort of a Chiwu Okeanos. I'm not exactly crazy about the Fran unless you were dead set on banning that Daphnis. And if I'm Gaia, I would like to see an Okeanos from him, but I don't think he's going to take that unit just because that's not his style. But I think that is absolutely the correct pick. Instead, he's looking to dip into a Vigor, so we might see some weird Vigor Molly or something, or Vigor Bastet, which doesn't really synergize at all, but I guess they're both water units, and so he figures they look great together.
We'll see. Interesting drafts already, especially by Gaia. Tanaka Tsubasa looking at drafting a Hathor in one last pick to possibly throw Gaia off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thrown off myself by both of these drafts here, taking 2 water units that don't really synergize. The Bastet does work well with the Daphnis, but if Daphnis is taken out, you really are left with absolutely nothing. So I think this is angling to ban out that Daphnis, so Gaia needs to take 1 more unit that works well with the Bastet, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's taking the Mina.
Yep. Well, Wusa wrapping up Tanaka Tsubasa's draft. Mina is coming out for Gaia. Bans are coming out here. I couldn't tell you which way this match was going at this point.
So one of the three need to be taken out, Daphnis, Bastet, or Mina, but I'm not sure about that Wusa pick from Tanaka Tsubasa. I'd rather see him fight for speed with like a Chiwu Oki. The Wusa doesn't do anything for speed, so now he's just going to be stuck here. He's going to need to survive a lot of damage from this buffed up Mina onto that Vertihau. We're going to see that Verd melt off the bat, and I think Gaia's probably got this on draft.
Yep, there's your bans. Here we go, going into the round 3 with Gaia and Tanaka Tsubasa. Bastet getting first turn, buffing up his team with shields and attack buffs.
Yeah, and you see here that Vigor actually goes in front of the Mina, so that's either a very fast Vigor or a very slow Mina. It looks like Tanaka Tsubasa's plan of attack or plan to win here was to get a revenge proc on the Vert, because that unit is dead. He didn't get that revenge proc.
Yep, that is correct. Vigor was able to get that defense break. Mina was able to pump in massive damage. I don't think Tanaka Tsubasa can come back at this point.
Yeah, and Gaia nods. He's very confident in his situation here. I think Tanaka Tsubasa needs to first work on that Mina, but again, there's protection from that Vanessa being able to revive that Mina, and at some point that Vigor is going to be awakened, going to be able to provide speed buff again. Speed buff very good in this match.
Tsubasa choosing to wake up the Mina, getting the attack break as well. That Mina's not going to be dealing a lot of damage here. Hathor, a little bit of poke damage coming out on the Mina. Wusa choosing to throw the shields and immunity up.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all Wusa's going to do here, but at this point, Wusa is such a dead pick in this draft here. I mean, Tanaka Tsubasa's friend's taking a beating. It's almost dead here, and he doesn't really have any damage output. I have no idea how he intends to win this match.
Yep, Sweet Dreams coming out. Does not land on top of the Vigor. Vigor with more poke damage coming back to this Fran. Wusa possibly crossing his fingers for a sleep. No, going for a second skill to attempt at dealing some damage on that Mina.
Yeah, again, that Fran is taking a lot of damage. You could give Tanaka Tsubasa procs on every single turn, and he's still going to lose this match. He is in such a bad position here. I think Gaia's got this one wrapped up.
Well, he's definitely going to be taking your advice there, getting that additional turn with the Fran. Fran buffing up, getting attack buffs as well. Vigor primed and ready with that shred, not able to get a defense break with the immunity up, still applying plenty of damage.
Yeah, and again, that Mina's that revive from the Vanessa is going to be burned, but that's an attack buff Mina that's coming out right now.
Yeah, that's right. And that attack buff Mina drops the Fran. I just don't know how Tanaka Tsubasa can come back here. Choosing to go right after the Mina, able to get the additional turn as well, putting everybody to sleep here.
Yeah, well, true to what we said about path to victory here, that Hathor has procced every single time. So able to get that third skill up online again, but I don't know how he's going to do against a Vanessa, Bastet, and a Vigor.
Yep, Vigor does have the sustain. Wusa does have a little bit of sustain with that second skill. I guess it's going to come down to, is it going to be enough? Can the Hathor possibly proc enough to get that daily promise and keep everybody down as much as possible? There's a sustain, just like I had said. Hathor looking to keep these units back.
And not just a sustain, but that speed buff allows Gaia's units to outpace Tanaka Tsubasa, so that makes it quite difficult for him to stay ahead. And of course, that Hathor, again, you see it keep proccing. It's proccing over and over and over again.
Ooh, and he's getting some lucky stuff coming in here. Wusa able to land that 2-turn sleep. Hathor getting the additional turns like we said. Can Tanaka Tsubasa hold off Gaia with the additional turns?
I don't think Hathor has missed a single proc here. This is the third AoE sleep that we've seen, and as the timer ticks down, it is actually possible for a unit to now die. So Gaia may not have this in the bag due to procs that were brought to you by Google Play.
Well, the additional turns are definitely coming out here. Wusa able to get those shield and immunity up. That did, honestly, dealing a lot of damage to the Vanessa. We do still have the sustain from the Vigor coming out, though.
Yeah, we do have that, but at the same time, you see Wusa's sleeping everything, Hathor's proccing every time. Everything is going to Tanaka Tsubasa's way here.
Everything! He's getting the additional turns that are clearly brought to you by Google Play. Hathor might be able to shut it down here.
I mean, this Hathor's got to be on 12 sets of Island because that thing has not missed a single proc. Gaia finally got a proc, is able to reset that percentage back, and is able to get that speed buff online, which is going to help him a lot.
Yep, you can tell he definitely held back on the 3-turn defense break because he would have needed a unit up there to capitalize off it. We might be seeing it right here. We do get the 3-turn defense break coming out, and that's going to be very, very tough to heal up if he does choose to go for it. But Bastet is going to be shutting it down there. Tanaka Tsubasa is not going to be taking this one. Gaia taking round 3 away.
Wow, interesting and confusing drafts here. And then we're seeing a Hathor proc every single time. but at some point your opponent does have to get some procs, so Gaia is able to come back after his vigor finally